Yo, this is Gidro. This is for entertainment purposes only. Once again, back to another video, you know what I mean? I'm trying to find things to react to. I seen this a while back. This video was kind of crazy. I didn't see the full thing, but I seen crazy parts of some clips of it. This is 5 most disturbing internet rabbit holes. Enjoy this. Show me some love. And I'm about to react to this. Enough said. Oh, shit.
The 2006 volleyball incident. On July 2nd, 2017, an anonymous user posted a thread on 4chan's paranormal board saying, "How does one live after taking the red pill on the 2006 volleyball incident?" Now, if you're wondering what that incident was, it's a strange and disturbing story. The post was referring to a supposed mass shooting where a gunman killed 14 people during a high school volleyball game in either South Dakota or Nebraska back in 2006. But here's where things get strange. If you search for any information about it online, you'll find nothing. No news articles, no official casualty
Cover up
reports,
Mandela effect,
nothing.
I think, but that's crazy.
Just
though.
conspiracy theory websites and the occasional Reddit post asking if it even happened. It's like the whole event either never existed or was somehow erased from history. But despite the silence online, there are many people who claim they remember hearing about it. Some even say they were at Mount Rushmore around that time and heard a report about it on the radio. For a long time, the only evidence of the incident on the internet was this still frame from a home video that was supposedly taken just before the incident with the date September 27, 2006 embedded on it. That is, until some ordinary gamer, a YouTuber who often dives into dark web rabbit holes, discovered more evidence. While browsing the Late Nights forum on a 4chan-like site, he came across the gruesome pictures of a bloody school gym that were allegedly taken soon after the shooting had already happened.
So right here, let's go down a little bit over here. They've got 2006 volley. Oh my god. Oh, we're gonna have to blur this one. Jesus Christ, that's actually like death footage. I think I remember this. I was searching around for some sort of proof of this happening, and apparently it's a snippet from a home video. Oh my god. We have to blur that out. I gotta make sure we note that, blur it real quick. Let me add that to the notes here. Jesus, it's like an actual straight up bloody massacre. It's like VHS recorded. This has to be from like a movie. There's no way.
This has to be from a movie.
Some movie.
Man, I wonder what that picture. I wonder what.
It's got
what
like,
is he looking
like
at right now?
CBI not for release. Like I assume CBI stands for like some sort of a governmental organization or something. That is so messed up. I feel like I should have known this or something. I don't even know if that's like a conspiracy. How is that a conspiracy? It's actually like death foot, unless it's from like some movie or something that we don't know about. Jesus Christ.
A movie that we don't know about.
That's actually
them pictures had to be just
we're like 5
horrible.
minutes into
I ain't
the
gonna front.
recording, and already it's just like death footage of hit the building.
Imagine being able to build
Here we go
anything
again.
just by thinking about
The
it.
ads.
Meet
It's all
Base
good.
44. A
We gonna get
complete
there
AI
to where we
creation
gonna get rich
In
and
the bottom
have these
right
ad
corner
blockers.
was the text, "CBI not for release," which I'll do my best to show you while blurring everything else out. This has led to some pretty wild theories being spread all over the internet. According to the most popular ones, the incident did happen, but it was covered up by the American government. As the story goes, the government was trying to assassinate someone who was attending this high school volleyball game. Things got out of hand, however, and a lot of the young volleyball players were caught in the crossfire. And since this would have caused tons of backlash from the public, the government instructed the news media to not talk about the story and also paid the victims' families to keep them quiet. However, while the US government is no stranger to covering up the truth, I have to admit, this one is quite far-fetched. Keeping something this big under wraps for so long feels pretty out there. At some point, you'd think the truth would slip out. A somewhat more reasonable theory is that this is a classic case of the Mandela effect, where large groups of people collectively misremember something.
I don't remember that
and
part.
Coincidentally enough,
clip,
I actually did find a similar incident that
me.
happened in 2006 in that region. In the Platte Canyon High School situation, 53-year-old Dwayne Roger Morrison took 7 female students hostage, attacked them, and ended up shooting one of them. This also took place on September 27, 2006, which is the same date on which the alleged photo was taken before the incident. Its location in Colorado might also explain why people from the Midwest remember hearing about it on the news. But there are some major differences. Most notably, the Platte Canyon incident had nothing to do with a volleyball game, and there was only one death. But in saying all of that, the most likely scenario is that all of this is a hoax. While researching this incident, I came across an interesting post on the forum Above Top Secret from 2017. In this post, the OP was talking about creating a hoax in which multiple school shootings happened in 2006 in tiny towns, but any information relating to these incidents has been mysteriously erased from the public record. But if that's the case, the images that some ordinary gamer came across, where did they come from? Considering it's been over 7 years since this first contraction on the internet, it's unlikely we'll ever know the answer to this disturbing internet rabbit hole. Grave robbing for morons. On August 8, 2014, a user by the name Simon Pred J.
What kind of twisted ass title was that? Grave robbing for morons. It's not no porn website. You feel me? And all I gotta pretty much tell you is, if you robbing graves, you gotta be dead ass broke. That nigga did not owe you
posted a video on YouTube
that much
titled
money.
Grave Robbing for Morons.
Yeah.
This was a digital re-upload of a very old VHS video, an extremely chilling one at that. In it, a young man goes into disturbing detail explaining step by step how to rob graves and sell the remains on the black market.
Grab it by the eyes.
What kind of twisted shit is this?
You pull out, put your finger all the way in. There is nothing there that will hurt you at all. Or you have to make sure of that. There's nothing that can hurt you. Do not be afraid. Pull it out like that. Do not pull it by the teeth, or else it'll break out like that, and you will have holes.
What makes this video even more unsettling isn't just its content, but the mystery surrounding it. No one knows who the man in the video is. To this day, his identity remains unknown, and no one has come forward to claim responsibility. This has left the internet in two fiercely opposing camps. Some believe this is authentic footage of a real grave robber. Others argue it's an obscure horror short crafted purely for shock value. Surprisingly, I came across evidence that supports both sides of the argument while researching this topic. One undeniable fact, however, is that the original video is extremely old. The earliest mention of its title, Grave Robbing for Morons, I found on the internet was a now defunct online store for horror VHS tapes called Shocking Videos. This website listed the tape for sale in April of 2003, stating, "What we have here is genuine camcorder footage of a drunken teenage stutterer giving a half-hour lecture on how to steal body parts from graveyards for fun and profit while holding a fresh, rotting skull in his hand."
That's the real question.
That said, the original video is likely from the late 80s.
The
we can
late
clearly
80s
see the VHS
off the
box for the 1987 Evil Dead 2 movie 5 minutes and 43 seconds into the video. And to narrow it down even more, there's an issue of Horror FX magazine visible in the bottom left corner at the same time. This specific cover was a part of a unique Fangoria horror magazine edition released in July 1989, which means the video was probably shot around that year. The horror memorabilia scattered throughout the footage implies that whoever created this video might have been a die-hard horror fan just trying to make something creepy for the thrill of it. And while most of the gruesome advice given in the video feels very authentic, like describing ways to remove the skull from a body that hasn't fully decomposed yet, there are also sections that seem extremely goofy. Like when the host suggests knocking out witnesses so they think it was all just a dream.
Come on, stop. Something's wrong with this kid.
Wah Wah Hoagie Fest is here. This year we're mixing it up.
These fucking guys. We don't want hoagies right now.
Never leave witnesses. If you have to knock them out, no way they think it's a dream.
Oh shit.
This gives further credence to the theory that the subject doesn't have any real grave robbing experience and is just making it all up for the video.
Look at it. He looked like
on the other hand, some people argue that the skull he's showing in
his nose was damn. I can't even go back. But
the video
I'm not about to even try
to be fake.
I'm not that professional yet.
As for the inconsistency in the advice, that could be explained by the theory that this was likely his first time robbing a grave, and that he was simply making things up to seem more knowledgeable on the topic than he actually was. But this is where things start getting really eerie. Toward the end of the tape, the guy almost mumbles his full name, but stops himself before saying his entire last name.
Okay.
Almost gave himself up to the D's.
By Anthony. Well, as a matter of fact, let's forget the last name.
And in 1999, a man named Anthony Casamassima was arrested in New York for stealing an expensive stained glass window from a cemetery. There was a real possibility that this was the same person who made the Grave Robbing for Morons guide. That being said, there are a few inconsistencies that say otherwise. For instance, I did not find any charges against Anthony Casamassima that mentioned him desecrating bodies. He was more into stealing valuable artifacts like stained glass. And more importantly, Casamassima was 40 when he was arrested in 1999. If he made the tape, he would have been around 30 at the time. However, given the young
He's
appearance of the
30?
video's subject, that seems highly unlikely. I also found a couple more theories as well, but most of them lead to dead ends. One such theory claims the guy in the video might be Craig A. Bradley, who was arrested in 1995 for stealing human remains from a cemetery in upstate New York. Craig would have been around 24 when the grave robbing video was filmed, which fits with the young appearance of the guy
That guy like a fucking nut.
Plus, he even looks a bit like him. However, the issue with this theory is that Craig doesn't have the stutter that was prominent in the original video.
You know, winter months I'm laid off. So winter months don't usually pay.
Dig for you and everything. So you dig and your friend digs, and then it's another friend digs. You have to find someplace really secluded, so that way there's no interruptions. Okay.
Now, he could have faked the stutter in the original video for some reason. However, people on the internet find that extremely unlikely given how real it feels.
Let me stop.
Grave robber or actor, the stutter is real.
That was a bad
I've known
one.
several people with really bad stutters, and it's such a specific, uncontrollable behavior that makes it hard to fake. This kid's stutter feels unique and authentic. I've never seen an actor in a movie fake a stutter that felt this real. It's possible one day the person seen in the video will come forward with the truth, but for now we have no idea who the person is or whether or not this extremely realistic looking grave robbing video is real.
Are you a Roblox
These
fanatic?
damn ads. I'm always going to
Microsoft
comment
Rewards
on the
has
ads.
a brand new way for
Straight
you
up.
to earn digital gift cards from
Roblox. They off the hook on Roblox. They over here having GTA on Roblox. They over here
Strange
shooting
sounds in
niggas.
the sky.
Alright.
Over the past 50
Strange
plus
sounds in the
years, there have
sky.
been numerous
Better
reports
time.
of people hearing mysterious sounds coming from the sky. In some cases, the mysterious noise resembles the sound of screeching metal, like someone dragging heavy metal furniture across the floor. However, the most commonly reported noise is a low-frequency hum that persists in the area.
That sounds like a good meditation vibe. I ain't gonna
Those
front.
who can hear these sounds describe them as omnipresent and extremely annoying. And according to the BBC, the humming noise has been linked to at least one person ending their own life in the UK. However, while there are likely many legit reports of people hearing a mysterious humming, which we'll get to in a bit, many of the claims are either fake or can be explained quite easily. For instance, the metallic screeching noise could simply be from a nearby railroad with a long freight train rounding a corner and causing vibrations. Some of these trains are incredibly lengthy and can take several minutes to pass. Similarly, in another video you can hear what sounds like an extremely loud trumpet. The original poster of this video titled this as a judgment trumpet, referring to the divine trumpet described in the Christian faith. However, given the poor weather conditions in the footage, it's likely just a malfunctioning tornado siren, like this. A few of these videos are also outright faked, with the mysterious sounds being edited in to generate views. Notice how the birds around the area appear completely unaffected by the loud, ominous noise, which would be unlikely if the sound was genuinely overwhelming the environment. Birds have sharper hearing than humans, and they would likely react. That said, there are still thousands of reports from people who can't be easily debunked or labeled as fake. Unlike the examples I've shown so far, the vast majority of seemingly authentic reports involve the persistent, low-frequency hum. This strange phenomenon seems to trace back to Bristol, England in the late 1970s. The city council received hundreds of complaints from residents about a strange noise that was audible at night. One local newspaper even asked readers in the city, "Have you heard the hum?" and almost 800 people said they had. French scientists back then proposed that the sound might originate from the ocean, suggesting that continuous waves could be vibrating the ocean floor. Now, this explanation might have been true for Bristol, but as time went on, more and more people around the world started reporting these disturbing humming noises. And it appears the Bristol hum is still present to this day. There are many theories that attempt to explain the bizarre global phenomenon. And these can get into some truly out there conspiracies, like aliens or secret underground civilizations in the hollow earth. However, the most plausible explanation I found suggests that these sounds are more connected to the listeners themselves rather than their surroundings. Things like hypersensitive ears and early signs of hearing issues like tinnitus could be a major contributor. Another possible reason could be the increasing levels of anxiety and stress. A BBC researcher also noted that she only heard the hum when she was exhausted and stressed out, which further supports the notion of this mysterious hum being a psychosomatic or stress-related phenomenon. During my research, I even found a video claiming to capture the strange humming sound. But when I watched it, there was nothing unusual, just regular environmental noise.
You like that, Enzo?
Terrible.
I see you, barking boy. I got you 3 in a row. Oh.
I hope that dog bites you. Alright, there's no skip ass. Damn.
Yes, sir. I see you, Enzo. I see you.
They got me good.
It's entirely possible that the person who recorded it was hearing something from inside their body, misinterpreting it as an external sound, which further supports the stress-related theory. However, this doesn't explain...
Yeah, that dude had to been high because he said he heard some shit in the sky and he recorded on video. And then no one heard nothing. So I think this dude was right. He probably heard something. He was probably smoking some of that Zon and heard his heartbeat bumping. And he thought that shit was the sky. So yeah, but I never heard nothing in the sky before. He said it was across the world. I never heard no shit like that.
And given the endless amounts of possibilities for each individual case, I doubt we'll get a complete answer anytime soon.
That's what it said on the...
John Lang,
I think this dude's capping.
On March 20th, 2015, a YouTube channel by the name Lang Marine uploaded a 3.5-minute video titled Fresno LE Harassment, Ford Crew Cab that stalked me and my residence numerous times. The video showed the same vehicle driving past the camera twice in 3 minutes. The uploader was a 51-year-old former Marine named John Lang living in Fresno, California. The video footage came from a security camera he had installed outside his home. And in the description of this video, he provided much-needed context behind the oddly disturbing encounter. According to Lang, he was critical of the way Fresno PD and Fresno Fire utilized their budgets online. So now they were stalking and harassing him in retaliation, and the Ford truck in the video belonged to either the Fresno Police Department or the Sheriff's Office. The next day, he posted another video of a man walking his dog outside his home. The video showed the dog and his owner stopping outside Lang's home for a few seconds and moving on, nothing too unusual. However, Lang claimed that the person in the video was a plainclothed police officer who was conditioning Lang's dog so that it wouldn't attack if the same officer broke into his home later. Over the next 10 or so months, Lang continued posting videos of shady activity captured by his security camera, like a guy in plain clothes coming up to his home, taking a look and walking away immediately. Or a police truck stopping outside his home for a few seconds and then driving away. However, the most disturbing of these videos showed a mysterious black van stopping outside his home, filming it with a massive camera for about 30 seconds and quickly driving away.
Alright, see, this can go...
The device in their hand was a thermal image.
This right here depends, alright? This could be Google Maps, you know, taking pictures of houses and stuff and, you know, driving off. Or this could be some real-life stuff, like what he's going through. Like, they about to assassinate him. But that's crazy though. A black van. What would y'all do if a black van stopped in front of your house, start taking pictures with this high technology camera, knowing that they trying to put a hit on you? This is outrageous. You know what I'm saying? The cops is corrupted. They think they run the whole world.
Sensor, and they were trying to determine whether or not he was home. By January of 2016, Lang was fully convinced that the Fresno police were planning an assassination. On the 16th of January, he posted a video about a cleaning company van parked outside his home. In the description of the video, he wrote, "If I turn up missing or dead tomorrow, remember this van. I think I seen a couple of guys sneak out the side door and into the building when it was parked in the carport this afternoon. I've been causing the city of Fresno a lot of problems recently, which I now regret."
I ain't know Fresno get down like that. It's fucking ass. Well, Fresno's real. These niggas... Bro, they will take you down for no... They'll take you down.
Unfortunately, this would be the last video Lang would post on YouTube. Because just a few days later, firemen found him dead inside a burning home with multiple stab wounds on his body. This was sad news for people who were following the story. However, this was only the beginning of a much
After
bigger
the cleaning
conspiracy. You see, when the news of his death initially broke, the reports stated that he had a few stab wounds on his
Yeah,
upper
that dude
back
right
as
there,
well.
he don't look like a cleaning crew. He look like a straight crook. And you know they say no such thing as halfway crooks, but that dude smoking a bogey, and he don't look like a cleaning guy. He look like he's gonna take him out because they gave him some good money.
If this were true, it would
This is messed
validate
up,
all of
though.
Lang's worries about getting assassinated.
Look at
This
the
would also
cops
put the
is evil.
Fresno
Look at
PD
this.
as the #1 suspect for his murder.
Who are those people?
However, when the Fresno
Damn,
coroner released Lang's autopsy report, it only
Nuts.
mentioned 3 self-inflicted stab wounds on his chest, and there was no mention of any stab wounds on his back. Was the earlier report a mistake, or were the Fresno police trying to hide their crime? This inconsistency led to tons of backlash and even a petition to reopen his case, but it remained closed. To this day, the John Lang case sits as a mystery. Was he actually getting stalked, or was he just severely mentally ill and paranoid? From my research, the answer seems to be a mix of both. First and foremost, it's worth mentioning that the Fresno police are well known for being ripe with corruption. A Reddit user mentioned a story he knew about the PD, stating, "I mean, my friend's dad was FPD for decades, and Jerry Dyer showed up with some officers and threatened him back in the late 90s, so it wouldn't surprise me if the cops were intimidating this dude." So, did the Fresno PD retaliate against Lang? Maybe. What's more likely is that Lang was getting more paranoid and losing his mind over time. From what I can see, the man walking his dog is doing just that, walking his dog, and claiming that he was somehow conditioning Lang's dog in just a couple of seconds is pretty out there. Even the suspicious van can be explained quite easily since the device shown in the video was just a film camera on a gimbal, not some high-tech thermal imaging sensor.
Google Maps.
As for why they were shooting like that
Or
from a
some-
vehicle, they were likely indie filmmakers who just didn't have the proper permissions from the city. However, all of this is just conjecture on
Are
my
they
part.
really indie
The
filmmakers?
real evidence that proves
They're
Lang's
moving on
deteriorating
tube or
mental
nothing.
state is the fact
So you
that
gotta
he
watch
turned
out.
off the cameras he had in his home a day before the incident.
Like,
The last saved footage on these cameras was of him sitting with a kitchen knife in his hand. Not only that, but when the fire department arrived on the scene, all the entrances to his home were barricaded securely from the inside. If this was truly a murder, the killer wouldn't have been able to escape the crime scene without removing one of these barricades. Ultimately, if there was some big murder conspiracy behind Lang's death, I doubt we'll learn about it over 8 years later.
8 years later is crazy. You know what?
Evil Stick.
I'm gonna cut it short. Evil Stick sounds crazy as is, you know what I'm saying? But the last part was even more crazier. All I gotta pretty much tell you is, this dude make a good video. I ain't gonna front. He make great video. Keep doing what you're doing, but I ain't gonna front, man. The whole camera crew and recording people houses and dog walking and the fake cleaning crew, all this is crazy, and it is disturbing. All I gotta pretty much tell you is peace. I'm out. I hope the best for you, and I hope you win. And I wanted to say you this: show me some love. Peace.